Hey, welcome everybody to Behind the Lines. This is our March edition.
Yes, sir.
Can't believe it's already March.
Oh, the year's flying by.
We are so busy, got so many things going on, and this time of year is severe weather.
Yes.
So that adds a component to everything that we're doing, and we're actually going to talk about severe weather a little bit coming up.
Yes.
And meet Randy Thrash, one of our system engineer, and talk about pole inspections and what happens when the company called Osmos is out in your yard looking at poles. So we'll talk a little bit about that coming up. Right now, of course, the big topic at hand is broadband.
Yes, we are busy as usual, and we love it that way. We got a good team, a well-oiled machine here. So we're focused on electricity and distribution to your house for that, but we're also focused on broadband. We've made a lot of headway very fast. We're actually faster than some other people are at this point. Remember, we didn't actually start construction until October. We hooked up our first customer mid-December, and right now we have over 260 people hooked up and counting.
Yeah.
Over 2,000 people have gone to the website and showed interest, and really want to emphasize the website and tell people how we're using that tool to further our strategy. So, John, talk about the website a little bit.
Sure. So it's www.fastnet.com. And if you go there, you can put your address in to see whether you're eligible or not right now for the limited area that we have. But of course, soon we're going to be revealing our timeline, and people will be able to go and look at the map and see when they can expect service. But we'll update things and have been updating things on the website. People can use that to go ahead and sign up and get on the list. And the other thing that we're going to do is, as we continue our build out, we're about to have a plan in place. And when we do, that's still subject to change.
Yes.
And so if we see that there are areas where there is a lot of interest, we may change our strategy a little bit in building and go catch some of those. So if you've got people in your neighborhood or your area that want to sign up, convince them to go ahead and go on the website, let us know, because we see these levels of interest that may change a little bit of our strategy.
I'm glad you said that. We have a map we have developed internally, and we're getting ready to roll that out in the very near future. I'm just really glad you emphasized the fact that it's just a starting point on the chalkboard. It may change. We're really using the website as a tool to tell us where to go next based on how many people show interest on where to go next. The service we're hearing from the membership is awesome. They love this product. Nothing is going to be faster and more resilient than fiber to your home. There's nothing. This is the absolute best product on the market today that anybody's aware of, and we're glad to be serving it.
We are glad to be serving it, and then we just ask that when we do put that timeline out there, you talked about how fast we've been to this point, and we are going to continue that aggressive build.
Yes.
But remember, there are some people who are going to be at the front of that line, and there are some people who are going to be at the end of that line.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be hard for those folks to wait, because they keep hearing about how great the service is, and they want it bad. But we just ask that you have patience. Wherever you fall in that list, we are going to do our darndest to get to you as quickly as we can and get you set up, because that helps all of us.
Well, while recording this podcast, today is Thursday, March the 25th. So I think we've gotten light in the Choctaw area.
That's right.
In the CARES grant.
So
we're hooking people up there right now. We'll be getting light in Brooksville in the next couple of weeks, so we'll be hooking people up in Brooksville. I know the Brooksville-Noxubee County community sees a lot of fiber going in the air, but we're coming there. And then beyond that, beyond the CARES areas and those 3 pilots, we'll be moving forward. I'm just impressed at how quick our team has gotten up to speed, John, knowing we're proficient on the electric side. I know I'm bragging, I'm biased on that, but we are after 80 years of doing it. But to get into this new business and know as much as we've known and marketed it as well as you've done, John, we've come a long way real fast, and it's impressive on how fast we've gotten up to speed.
It is impressive. It's been challenging. It's been a lot of fun. I think you see a lot of folks with a little invigorated step now because of this new challenge.
Yeah.
But we've met it head on, and I'm really proud of where we are too, and I appreciate you saying that. So we look for input.
Yes, we want to hear from you. We want to know if you want the service, please go to the website, put in your address, tell us you want the service, and it'll help us decide where to go next.
That's right. And if for whatever reason you put your address in there and it says you're seeing service not available and you think you are in an area that's available, or it says address not found, you can use a form there to just send us the information and tell us your service address. We'll look it up and get back to you and make sure that everything is good. So we're still working through a little bit of mapping stuff there, but it's not it doesn't mean you're not in the system. It just means that map's not recognizing you. So we can fix that. Just let us know what your address is, and we'll get you in the system. So
I think what you're going to see out of 4 counties is the same thing you've always seen out of 4 county and 4 county FastNet. Is our mission is to improve the quality of life of all those that we touch, and I think we do that in multiple ways. So thank you, John.
Exactly. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Randy Thrash, talk about system resiliency.
All right, see you in a minute.
Our members overwhelmingly say that 4 County Electric Power is a name they can always trust. That trust isn't something you can buy. It has to be earned. With respect, dependability, sincerity, honesty, integrity, and service. We say thank you to the men and women of 4 County who earn our members' trust each and every day. We are proud of them and proud to serve our member owners.
Welcome back, everybody. We are joined now by our system engineer, Randy Thrash.
Good morning, Randy.
Thank you, guys.
And we're going to talk a little bit about weather. Boy, we've been pounded with weather here of late. We've had everything from ice storms to level 5 tornado threats. As we're taping, we're under another
Hope we've
one.
met our quota for the day.
I
but
hope so.
Today is Torcon 7.
Yeah, it's another high one. So hopefully we will dodge the bullet again today, but we are ready. But one of the things that we have seen throughout this storm season so far is the resiliency of our system.
Yes.
Even though we've had outages, because you can't not have outages when you get weather like that, we've really been happy with how the system has performed.
Yes. A big part of that, John, is because of our engineers.
That's right.
Randy being one of them. The work they do, the technological advances y'all have made over the past few decades, the investment y'all put in our plant, over $300 million. That's why our members don't see as many outages as maybe some other systems do.
So Randy, one of the things that we do as part of that is pole inspections, and Osmos is the group that we contract to do that, and they're starting to begin work, and actually they have started to work in some areas. You want to talk about who they are and what they do?
Sure. First thing I'd like to do is explain why we do this. Basically, the first thing I always bring up is safety. Safety for the public and our employees. And by public, I mean to ensure their poles are in safe working conditions so that it supports our lines and the equipment on them so that it stays in the air where it's supposed to be to deliver reliable power. And for the employees, a lot of them in their backyards, so we have to climb them from occasionally. So they need to be in good working shape for the guys to be able to climb them safely and do their job and that. Also, reliability, as we've talked about during the storms. The excess winds that we're experiencing, and also the past ice storms, that additional weight and wind loadings, if it's in a good shape, then it's going to withstand more of the loadings. And the third thing is the cost savings. We all like to save money. So by extending the life of the pole, that extends us not having to replace the pole so often. So last year, what Osmos did for us at the end of the treatment cycle is showed us the estimated cost savings for our program. Based on that, they said there was 3,670 poles that showed decay. By digging around them and also retreating them, we've extended the life of those poles, delaying the replacement of them. And their estimated cost of savings by extending the life of the pole was $2.8 million. So that's a big significant savings for our members. So
It is. It's a big number. So what we do, Randy, basically is we've got a schedule of inspections that we go out and we look at every pole in the system. Is that correct?
That's correct, on a 10-year cycle.
Okay. And so explain that 10-year cycle.
Okay. What we're doing is we have approximately 125,000 poles on 4 county system. And to be on a 10-year cycle, that means we need to inspect about 12,500 poles annually. So what we do is we do 2 types of inspections. A visual inspection on all poles that are 15 years, younger than 15 years. By visual inspection, what we do is osmosis inspector will come up and look at the pole, all above ground items on the pole. They're looking for such things as split tops, decayed tops, any kind of loose hardware, chipped hardware, anything that's out of its abnormal working condition. They will report it on a computer and it gets back to us so we can fix it and prevent any kind of outages. Also, poles that are 15 years or older, what we'll do on that is we'll dig around the pole to a depth of 18 inches. The reason 18 inches is osmosis experience has shown that all decay has been from ground line to about 18 inches deep. That's where your moisture is. And one of the things that decay needs is moisture and oxygen to do that. So what they'll do is they'll dig around the poles that are 15 years or older, 18 inches, and then what they do is they'll put a tarp down before they start digging, and they'll put that excess dirt they remove while they're digging on that tarp. That way it helps with a clean recovery of all the dirt back into the hole at the time to make the yards look better. Once that hole is open, the diggers will move to the next one to dig. So we have the inspector, which is also the foreman of the crew. He will come by and he will actually get on his knees and get down in that hole, and he will scrape the pole with what they call it a scraper, and clean all the excess dirt off around the pole. And then he will take a measurement of the pole, which is the circumference of it, and he will look at it and record it. And then if there's any decay for there, he will actually shave that decay off, and then he'll take a second measurement. And while he's taking the second measurement he's seeing how much decay he's removed from the pole, and he calculates the pole strength removed by removing that decay, because you've actually made the pole circumference a little bit smaller. Based on what's in the air, conductors and equipment, he will put it into his computer, and it'll say if it still has enough strength to support the facilities. If it does, then he will basically move on to the next pole to inspect. What follows him is the treater. And this is a guy that will bring in a 5-gallon bucket of preservative, and what he will do is he will put about 1/8 of an inch of preservative around the base of the pole, and then he will put a plastic wrap on it to keep the preservative next to the pole, and then he will staple that to the pole. Then he will backfill the pole and pick up the tarp and move the next. The object of this is to make sure that that we leave the pole condition in as best as we saw it and we found it, basically. So that's kind of the quick procedure. It's usually a 5-man crew, 3 diggers, an inspector, which is also the foreman, and then a treater at the end of it. And so that's kind of the process that we go through.
Randy, thank you for managing that part of the process here at 4 County. What most people don't know is this is probably the best, if not one of the best programs we have in place to be proactive to maintain our system. You said 125,000 poles. Remember, we're in parts of 9 counties. That's a big undertaking, Randy, so thank you for managing that process.
Thank you.
Yeah, it works real well, and we just wanted to touch on that, one, to talk about, one of the many things that we do to preserve the system, and secondly, a lot of folks have questions as to why there's crews in their yard digging up around their poles. We get it every year, every time we start this, and so it's good to kind of talk about what happens and why these gentlemen are in their yard digging up around their poles. So it's a much needed thing to do for the strength and resiliency of our system. And it's good saving us money. $2.8 million last year.
Yeah,
so
it's good to know that. I haven't seen the people, but I've come home and seen dirt around the pole in my yard and go, who's been digging around my pole? Yeah. So it's good to know that.
So, and it is good that they're taking the care with people's yards, because that, we want to be as respectful with people's property as we possibly can. And so if there are questions or concerns, please let us know, and we're happy to address them. I know that the Osmos guys communicate with your guys and you, and y'all take great pains to make sure that people are that you are proactive in making sure that their yards are as undisturbed as possible and that they're as unbothered as possible as we do this process. So great.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for this edition of Behind the Lines. I guess we'll see you next month. Randy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys
as
for having
always,
me.
it's Brian Clark, myself, and our head engineer and director, David Kilpatrick.
Wizard behind the screen.
That's right.
Thank y'all for joining us. Be cautious of the weather. By the time you see this, hopefully we dodged another bullet, and we've met our quota for the year, I hope.
That's right.
God bless.